Hi everybody, welcome to the new video, how we do short quality homeschool lessons and not feel behind. This is especially important if you have neurodivergent kids like I do. We've got some ADHD, some anxiety running around, so let's get to it. Thanks so much for coming to this video. If you are new here, I am Sarah Bean. I am the owner and creator of Love at Home Education. We create hands-on child-led resources as well as providing a lot of homeschool parent encouragement. I'm so glad you're here. Make sure to like this post to boost it so that more people can gain help from it. And don't forget to click the little bell and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos. Without any further ado, let's get going. There are a couple things that I wanted to cover today, and I actually have a list over here. So if you see me looking over here, that is because I don't have the greatest memory, so I want to make sure I hit everything on my list. The very first thing is a block schedule. So one of the key tells in our homeschool about how we can do these short quality lessons, how we can make sure we're covering all of the content that we want to cover, and how I make sure I don't feel like we're behind at all. We block our time. Now, blocking your time can be as simple as saying, in the morning, we're going to do this, in the afternoon, we're going to do this, and in the evening, we're going to do this. The way that we block schedule is based on about 2-hour increments. Now, the reason that we do it based on 2-hour increments is I do still have a toddler that naps. And 2-hour increments, because they're even numbers, help us see throughout the day, like, okay, this specific time we're going to do this specific time this, and so on and so forth. So as I'm talking, I'm going to go ahead and put a little block schedule here that we generally use next to me while I'm talking as a good visual aid. But I'm just going to walk you through sort of a day in our life, in our block schedule. I do also have another video if you want to go watch that. Is a day in my life as a working small business owning homeschool mom. So I try to wake up early in the morning. Lately, my toddler has not been allowing me to, but our first block usually starts about 7 a.m., 7 to 9 a.m. is block one. Block one is when we have breakfast, we do our morning chores, which consist of tidying the table, the main areas, living room, kitchen, doing a load of dishes. The kids will clean downstairs. So morning is breakfast and morning chores. Block number 2 is about 9 to 11. So block 2 is when we do our structured schooling, and then when we run any errands or when we go to the library or anything like that we want to get done before nap time. That brings us to block number 3, which is the nap time block. So I have one child that naps. He is 15 months, almost 16 months. My other 2 actually stopped napping at 16 months, so I'm a little scared. But while he's napping, the older kids will listen to their Yodo player audiobooks, and then they get to go back and forth and choose on who gets to pick the show for the day. While they're listening to audiobooks and watching TV, and while my toddler's napping, that's when I get my work done. That's actually what's happening right now and how I have time to make this YouTube video without a lot of stuff in the background. Block number 4 would be from the time that my son wakes up, which is usually about 1 o'clock, until my husband gets off work. So that's 1 to 3. Now, during that time is when we have lunch, we do some extra tidy, and a lot of times is when we'll go outside if the weather is okay to go outside. After that, block 5 block 5 is before dinner, so about 3 to 5. And again, this is when we will block out our time and get one main chore done or one main room done. A lot of time this is free time and independent time for the other kids, and is when I have more one-on-one time with the toddler, or when I will help the older kids with something that they need to work on, and they will switch off watching the toddler so that I can do that. The next block is dinner and bedtime. So that is from 5 to 7. We will prepare dinner, make dinner, have dinner, clean up dinner, and then spend a little one-on-one time with dad. Now, this last block is the bedtime block for everybody. So at 7 o'clock, all of my kids take their vitamins, any medications that they need to take, like reflux medicine for my toddler, and then we will do our bedtime routine, which is reading a devotional. Right now is the Berenstain Bears devotionals, which I will link in the description, and Harry Potter, the illustrated first book of Harry Potter. This is the 4th or 5th book that we've been reading at bedtime, because we started this about 2 months ago. We went through the My Father's Dragon series. There was another one that I'm forgetting. The Courage of Sarah Noble was the first one. And now we're reading the illustrated Harry Potter. Then we will say prayer. The older kids will go downstairs to listen to their Yoda players again before bed while I put the toddler to bed. Then I'll go down and tuck them in, and then my husband and I will be able to have some alone time watching TV or working on projects or anything that we need to do. And that is the basic block schedule for our day. It's super simple, super effective, 2-hour blocks, and that is how we get everything done. Now you'll notice that in the school block, it's not just a school block. It's a school block and an errand block, because our school only lasts about an hour. Now my kids are 15 months, 6 years, and 8 years. My 6-year-old is in a first, second grade combo, and my third grader, my 8-year-old is in a third, fourth grade combo. So I am not concerned that they are not getting enough structured school time. They're not concerned, and they are having a really good time. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is standards, specifically the National Core Standards. Now, you do not have to follow the National Core Standards as a homeschooler. You do not. I've had a lot of people that want to sort of follow them as like a template to learning. And because I have a bachelor's degree in elementary education, I was able to create a guide. Now, right now, it's only for preschool through 3rd grade. We are going to be adding 4th, 5th, and 6th this next year. But I was able to add a semi-standard based approach to homeschooling that's in a very simple, effective, and not overwhelming way. So if you join my subscriber freebie library, so you join my email list and you'll get a password to join the subscriber freebie email library, that's a lot of words, you're going to be able to get this. It's a really awesome free download where you can look at it and you can kind of see an overview of what units there are, what standards these units cover, what sort of lessons and levels and goals that you can set with your children, because a standard is meant for comparison. A standard is meant to compare one class to another class, one student to another student, one school to another school, one country to another country, and so on and so forth. A goal is individualized planning for yourself. I'm going to compare myself to who I was yesterday. That is a goal. So this guide, which again is linked in the description, if you go to the email library, the subscriber freebie library, you will be able to get that, download that, and it'll be so much easier to have these short quality lessons and not feel like you're behind. Because for the most part, homeschool children need less instruction because we have smaller class sizes. We have one-on-one instruction that public school students don't have. You have the ability to curate a less stressful load for your child and for yourself. And that kind of goes into the third point, which is why it's important to have short quality lessons rather than long quantity lessons, because quality versus quantity is a huge factor. It's a huge thing. Instead of saying, look, you need to complete 1 page per day in your math book, you can change your approach and say, I need to make sure you understand this standard or this goal or this math practice before we move on. Now, in our hands-on math units, which again, I can link those in the description as well, this is the approach that we follow. And you'll see this in the free goals download in that subscriber freebie library. What we do is we go through the standards in a way that is very individualized to the child. You're not going to feel like you're behind, because guess what? You're not behind. You're right where you should be as long as you're practicing. My 6-year-old is marking off some goals in 1st grade, some goals in 2nd grade, and some goals in 3rd grade. My 8-year-old is marking off some goals in 3rd, some in 4th, and we haven't even checked 5th yet, but I'm gonna need to do that soon because it goes in a very level-based approach where I'm just gonna give you an example. First, know how to count to 5. Once you know how to 5, you move on to count to 10, to 20, to 100, and so forth. And each lesson builds upon that. So as you are able to have those short quality lessons, you can really dig down and make sure your child understands before you move on. Make sure it's not you need to be completing this much. It's you need to be understanding this before we understand the next thing. So building those building blocks of learning is incredibly important. And that brings us to the next point, which is homeschool philosophies that really push short quality lessons. Charlotte Mason is the biggest pusher of short quality lessons. She was one to say lessons in the morning, freedom in the afternoon. Now, they were in a school setting, but a lot of homeschoolers have adopted a lot of parts of her philosophy because it is a beautiful and gentle way of learning. So I will also include the homeschool help page that's free on my website. I'll put that into the description. You can go there. You can actually go take some quizzes for homeschool. You can go see what philosophy best resonates with you, your teaching style, and your child's learning styles. Charlotte Mason is a big proponent of short quality lessons. The Montessori approach, led by Maria Montessori, who was an Italian physician, hers is also short quality lessons. Theirs is, look, it's not about the amount of information you can push into a child's head. It's the amount of things that they will understand, that they will actually learn, and that they will retain. Because how many of you remember everything you learned in school? If you were public schooled, homeschooled, whatever. If it's just something that your teacher wanted you to learn, did you remember it? Most likely the answer is no. So allow your child to be part of the education process, not just learning, but choosing things and allowing them to stop when they need to stop. My favorite thing is stop while they're having a good time. Do not wait until the burnout has set in. Do not wait until their eyes glaze over. When they're having a good time, they're learning, they're picking things up, it's going really well. Don't think, ooh, I need to push this further. No. Stop and come back to it later, because they're going to want to come back to it later if you stop while they're having a good time. Okay, so the last two things that I wanted to talk about, because I've already talked about the subscriber freebie library, make sure you sign up for the email list, you get so many good things, is seasonal schooling and holiday schooling. So let's talk about that. Why would you school based on the season? Well, let me tell you. Different seasons have different opportunities. You don't want to be learning about a hands-on thing like learning about insects in the winter, because you're not going to find the insects in the winter, right? So we usually do science during the warm months and history during the cold months. You can do it any way you want, but we like to school based on the season, and I will link the blog post about our seasonal homeschooling in the description if you would like to learn about that further. The second thing, and this is perfect timing because it's November, we've got the holidays coming up. They're coming fast. Thanksgiving is next week. Christmas is in a month, is holiday schooling. Now, holiday schooling is not making sure they're keeping up on their math facts and making sure they're learning all the things they can learn about science and making sure they're writing every day and following all of these standards like we said before. No. Holiday schooling is about taking a breath, taking a step back, really learning about what the season is about. What is the holiday about? How can I incorporate life skills in this? How can we make sure that we are keeping our minds sharp, but we're having a good time? We're really immersing ourselves into the season. I'm going to include the Instagram post about holiday schooling in the description as well, but I wanted to encourage you to look into that, see if it's a right fit for your family, and then also check out my shop link in the description, because we have an entire Thanksgiving school bundle, an entire Christmas school bundle that focuses on reading, crafting, cooking, doing service, learning about the true meanings of the season. So I hope that was helpful. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment if you feel so inspired, and turn on notifications so that you do not miss another video. And of course, subscribe as well, because you can't turn on notifications without subscribing, right? So if this was helpful to you, please make sure to engage below. I will be back next week. Topic to be determined, but if you have something that you would like me to talk about, you can always leave a comment or send me an email, and I will gladly respond to you. Hope you have a fantastic holiday season. See you later.